standout, Nia Crittenden. The Gauchos are undefeated. The Card looking for their first win this season. What do you think we can expect as first serve underway?
We're looking at two very different teams at this point in this early part of the season here. UCSB coming off of a 4-match winning streak right now. So we're seeing a team that seems to be gelling and playing with a lot of consistency with each other. On the other side, for Stanford, 3-match losing streak. So not exactly the way that they wanted to start this season, but coming back with a lot of returners for the Cardinal.
First point going Stanford's way, and then putting up the wall there to get a second one. The Cardinal are up 2-0 early here in the first set.
Alex Rotman has really been making a name for himself in this early part of the season. I saw him come in against Lewis in that very first match to open the season. Came in at the end and had quite a few points there, but starting off strong with a big block here in the first set.
UCSB responds, they get on the board. Trailing by 1 here early in the first set. The starters for UCSB, Evan Porter, Jacob Little-Phillips, Alex Rotman, or sorry, for Stanford, excuse me, Alex Rotman, Teo Snui, Moses Wagner, Kamana Carrera, Luke McFall, and Kai Schmidt. Miscommunication there on the Stanford side, and we're tied up at 2.
A tough play there. But you're going to have moments like that when you have a new setter in. You're used to seeing Briette on the floor. He's out in the last match too. So the freshman setter in Little-Phillips having to step up, starting for the Cardinal.
First start of the season, first start of the collegiate career. Stanford putting up the wall. Off the block, but handled by the Cardinal. Tries to go over, finds it in the back corner.
We love a paintbrush swing, and that one is successful. We're used to seeing Moses Wagner take a huge swing from the right side there, but see a little laugh as he finds the floor in that deep cross-court corner. No one's touching that ball.
He's back at the service line, and on Santa Barbara side, Riggs Guy, Joe Wallace, Josh Aruya, George Bruning, Jason Walmer. As that's from the back row, and will notch another point to tie it up again. Dylan Pilkvist, Cole Schobel, and Ben Pearson getting the start.
Ben Pearson with a big swing there. Huge swing out of the back row to get the ball back for UCSB.
Riggs Guy now at the line, the sophomore out of Newport Beach. Back set. Dug up. Cardinal will set it up. There's Wagner, and that's off the block. Gets it done. Lead retaken.
Really, really impressive out-of-system set there. That ball was so high, almost going into the ceiling here, but a lot of control there. You saw that out-of-system set was brought a little bit lower for Wagner to get on that with speed, so able to get that ball on the top of the block there for a point.
Alex Rotman at the line, the redshirt junior out of Santa Barbara. Know some folks on the other side. The service error will tie it up once again.
So both teams starting off strong. We're seeing some impressive swings here, but also the defense on each side. They're both in good spots so far, really challenging each other to find better spots on the floor.
Dylan Pilkvist with the serve from the back row. Dug up by the Gauchos. Here's the setup, right into the block. Covering, pushes it over. From the back row, shut down, diving to keep it going. There's Snui off the block, another dive to keep it going, a free ball here. Pushes it down, gets the point, Kamana Carrera.
Kamana Carrera with the swing and the kill there, still working on his connection with freshman setter Little-Phillips. But finding the floor, really impressive rally there. Had some good touches off of the block. Some impressive digs on defense on both sides.
Carrera, the sophomore out of Mission Viejo. Cross court, tool in the block. The Gauchos answer. A lot of back and forth that we have seen so far early in this first set.
And that's George Bruning taking control there at 6'10". The outside hitter 16 kills last match against the Masters for UCSB. So just powerful. And we see that with that massive serve. Lands outside, but wow, it's a lot of power on him.
A lot of height on this Gaucho squad. You mentioned Bruning, 6'10", Dylan Topis, 6'7". In there for the ace. That's a way to make an impression.
Impressive serve there from the freshman, straight down the line.
Strong serve. Back set. The reset here. Goes for the back line just long. Stanford extends the lead to 3.
The Cardinal gaining some momentum here, trying to take control early, as I talked about, coming off of a 3-match losing streak for them, really showing new energy today on the floor.
Some success here with Little Phillips at the line. Setting it up. Snooey tries to push it over. It'll go out. They'll tool it. 4 points ahead now for the Cardinal.
A smart play there for the senior, pushing that ball into the hands of the block. Not quite able to get a swing there and still pushing a point. So that serve back to freshman Little Phillips.
4-0 scoring run for the Cardinal, ranked number 14 in the nation coming into this weekend. Big time dig there from Kai Schmidt. Violation called. The point's going to go to the Gauchos. Scoring run is over.
Tough net there from Luke McFall, but going up for that big block. Just got a little too close to the net.
Ben Pearson now at the line, the redshirt junior out of Santa Cruz. One of 5 Northern California natives on this Santa Barbara team. All of them from California, 15 from Southern California. Dig, trying to keep it going is Snooey, but runs out of room.
Massive dig there from Kai Schmidt, trying to get under that ball. Got pretty close to getting a hand on it, though. Saw Snooey run over almost into the stands. Luckily, there are no fans in the way on that side. Have to crash into anybody. We've seen them chase after a lot of balls so far at start this season.
Into the net there. Service error for the Gauchos, and now Stanford at double digits. They lead 10-7.
Even though it's early on in this matchup, really impressed so far with the power behind the serves and most of the serves being in. So really haven't seen many service errors to start, which is impressive.
That's off the top of the net. The kill is complete. They'll get the touch, get the point, and a side out.
Massive swing there. The Cardinal maybe needing to adjust on the block a little bit more, take away a little bit more space when Riggs' guy is going up to swing.
Dig from Pearson. Cross court. Attack error there into the net. Timing a touch off. Cardinal once again 3 points ahead.
Yeah, tough play. Riggs' guy coming off of the block, trying to find the ball over his head and send that back for an out-of-system set. Sent back just a little too far. So that point to the Cardinal.
McFall with the serve. Free ball opportunity here. Back set. Into the net. Stanford, a dozen on the board.
Some tough timing there for Bruning on those last 2 swings. He's so powerful, but getting up, I think the ball's dropping a little bit faster than he's expecting. You can kind of see that on the swing there, ball going into the net.
That's going to go wide for McFall. Second service error of the day for the Cardinal. UCSB will serve 9, serving 12.
So far in this matchup, UCSB hitting 0 to the Cardinal, hitting 364. So really impressive for them and their hitting percentage and offense right now.
Moses Wagner leading the way with a couple of kills, hitting 500. into the block. All over it, Moses Wagner.
Keeping UCSB at 0 and really into the negatives now, -50 with a massive block from senior Moses Wagner.
13-9 for the Cardinal. Wagner goes long. Double digits now for the Gauchos. 10 to serve 13.
It's a tough one there when you have the momentum and you have your foot on the gas there, wanting to try to maintain that lead.
Free ball. Off the block. Here's Wagner from the back row into the block. Surviving on the dig was Schobel. Snooey keeps it going. Here's Wagner again. Just long.
Looking for a touch on that one.
Yeah, right away, the Stanford players thought that they had that.
They're going to challenge that now. They are very sure. I think you could slightly hear it, but it's hard to tell if that was hand on the ball or the ball going off of the block. But Moses Wagner very confident there was a touch there, so we'll see on this challenge play. But that last play, I mean, the defense on both sides, so impressive.
Head coach John Costi now in his 20th season here at Stanford. 273 wins to 241 losses during his time on the farm, but spent some time in Santa Barbara, a UCSB alum, class of 1987. Played 3 seasons there, was an All-American, played on the USA Junior National team too, but has been at Stanford 36 years now overall since he was named to the staff when he first came and then became head coach in 2007.
On the other side, head coach Rick McLaughlin for UCSB. He's been the head coach there since 2008. He's won the AVCA Coach of the Year award, won it back-to-back in 2020 and 2021. So 2 coaches that have a ton of experience and a shared home in UCSB. He's someone who has coached multiple All-Americans, 15 AVCA All-Americans to be exact. So someone with a lot of experience and a program that has had its moments and has been building the last few years. They reached the national championship semifinals in 2021 and won their first conference championship as a member of the Big West in 2021.
Joined the Big West in 2018 when it first started sponsoring men's volleyball. 2-time Big West Coach of the Year is McLaughlin, also 2-time MPSF Coach of the Year prior to that move. It's ruled no touch, so not a successful challenge for the Cardinal. Costi asking some questions. The point will stay with the Gauchos.
So tough one there, they're looking for it. They were sure they heard that touch, but sometimes on those, if they can't see it, then that's it. I know it can be tough with review.
Guy with the serve. Right into the block. The Gauchos bring the roof down.
6'10", Bruning right in front of you. Alex Rotman really wanting to go for that swing, but he was absolutely clamped on that ball. There was really nowhere to go in that last play.
George Bruning, Big West honorable mention and freshman team last year, just a redshirt sophomore for the Gauchos. Short set, gets the touch. Gauchos tie it up at 13.
6'7" middle blocker, Dylan Pilkvis taking a swing at that ball. You can see the trust he has in his setter to even give him a ball like that in that last play, keeping the Cardinal and their defense on their toes.
Pilkvist, a member of the 2 sets of brothers. First Santa Barbara, and Stanford fires back.
Cardinal hanging on to this lead here. They're trading points back and forth in this first set.
Alex Rotman to serve. Mentioned he's from Santa Barbara, the redshirt junior. 3 players on UC Santa Barbara attended Santa Barbara High School, as did Rotman. So saw some familiarity, some chit-chatting before the game during warm-ups. Tied again at 14. Here's Pilkvist. In there, down the line, well placed.
Great swing from Kamana Carrera. We've seen a lot of movement in the middles. Talked with head coach, Coach Costi, about that in the very first game, in their home opener, about what the middles were going to look like this season. They had a lot of movement toward the end of the last season. You saw Luke McFall, you saw Gray Mandelbaum, we saw Kamana Carrera interchanging quite a bit. And we're still seeing that now this season. He has a lot of depth there. All of them very successful, and they've had their time finding their rhythm, doing very well for the Cardinal.
And it's been a bit spread out in terms of the attack for the Cardinal. A couple of kills each for Carrera, as well as Moses Wagner, Teo Snui all leading the way. Of course, Carrera leading the team in hitting percentage with .667. Couple of blocks to his name as well. He's been key in the middle, to your point, Naya, so far in this one.
Definitely, and I think for really both teams right now, biggest differences, as I talked about earlier, hitting percentage. So UCSB still hitting 0, but even for the Cardinal, a couple errors there in the last few points. They're down to 190 from being in the 300, but really the service errors, not too many so far, but for the Cardinal already at 4, and that was something that I've seen that has definitely been a momentum killer for them at times, when they, especially when they're in the lead, they have the energy on their side, really wanting to keep more of those serves in. You want to put pressure on the other team's serve receive and really keep them on their heels when you have the lead.
That's a great point. Stanford does have the one ace so far today from Little Phillips. Next to those 4 service errors. Couple of service errors for the Gauchos. No aces as of yet as we get ready to resume play here. 15-14 in favor of the Cardinal here in the first set. Luke Morrison at the line, the freshman out of Irvine. Set up. Keeping it alive is Rotman. It'll be a free ball. Short set. Aruya gets the kill.
Great swing there from Aruya, but that set, the back set all the way to the right side was so impressive. Impressive defense, though, from Stanford to be able to defend that ball from Bruning. Took a huge rip at that last swing. He'll go for it again with this serve.
First attempt from Aruya gets the point. There's Snui into the block. Aruya does it on both sides.
Aruya taking control right now as we come back from that last break here. A kill and a block to add to his stats for the match so far.
He was a Big West Defensive Player of the Week last year in March. On the back line, Stanford answers. They'll tie it up at 16.
Moses Wagner, 3 kills, hitting .286 on the match so far. And a block to his name as well.
Little Phillips at the line again. The dump, successful. Cole Schobel, the junior, getting things going. His first kill.
Huge swing there from the setter. Goes up and is aggressive on that last play.
6 different Gauchos have registered a kill so far in this one. They are led by Riggs Guy with 3. Well placed. George Bruning doing what he does. He made the Big West preseason team this year for a reason.
George Bruning with a huge swing there, adding 2 kills to his tally now. Stanford did a pretty decent job of defending him. He had a couple of errors in the beginning, but we're seeing him come alive here as this set goes on.
Tough service error there for the Gauchos. Teo Snui now at the line for the Cardinals, 17 serving 18.
Snui, one of the leaders and aces on the team.
Guy adding to the tally, 2 points ahead now for the Gauchos.
That almost looked like he was hitting on open net. That seam in the block, not closed. He goes up, has such a fast arm, finding space to swing cross court.
Miscommunication there, trying to reset. In the back row, beautiful swing, Bruning once again.
You could see the difference in that swing from some of the ones we saw from Bruning earlier. The speed, his feet to the ball, and the tempo of that set. That is his set right there. And that ball was so fast. You could see for the Cardinal not having time to get in the right spots and defend where they needed to be for him on that play. And if you let him continue to drive that momentum, especially on a swing like that, it's going to be very hard to stop him as the match goes on.
Some young leadership on this UC Santa Barbara team as well. Bruning, as we mentioned, a redshirt sophomore. He was the Santa Barbara Athlete Roundtable Men's Volleyball Athlete of the Year last year. We talked about his honorable mention honors in 2025 as well as the freshman team preseason this year. He's definitely one of the ones that helps get things going for the Gauchos.
Definitely, and the team does look to him to lead them in those moments for that energy, and that's why that last play was so important for them as they have taken the lead now. The Cardinal really leading through most of this set, but they've been slowly chipping away at that lead, trying to build that hitting percentage back up from 0, and now they're at 172 as we get toward the end of this first set here, with the Cardinal actually now trailing behind them at 154.
And we talked about how Moses Wagner, he's leading the way with 3 kills for the Cardinal, but hitting 222. He was all-tournament last year for the MPSF, second team as well. He's been leading the way often for them this season. What can they do to get him going a little bit more?
I think for the Cardinal, really focusing on that first pass. Want to get a good set. You have a new freshman setter on the floor, someone who hasn't been really with these players starting. This is his first start. He's replacing Briette, someone who's been with them for a long time and who they're used to. So really getting him a good ball. And as I just talked about that, a perfect pass coming out of the timeout. That's exactly what every coach wants to see. They put that ball right into his hands, and he goes right to the middle. What a textbook play from the Cardinal.
A good ball for Luke McFall. He was actually born at Stanford Hospital, too, so almost destined to come here on the farm for his collegiate career. Carson Kneisel at the line.
Impressive serve to start coming in.
Here's Wagner, tools the block. Getting going with this 4th kill, that ties for a match high.
You just asked me, what do they need to do and what do they need from Wagner? That is the answer right there. Making something happen and finding a way to score with a massive block in front of you.
Into the net from Kneisel. Bit of a break for the Gauchos, who now have that 2-point lead once again.
So trying to stay in this match here as they get closer. As we've said throughout most of this set, trading points back and forth.
Free ball here. Opportunity for the Gauchos. Snui pushes it over, that'll work.
A little unsure on that timing as he got close to that ball. He was so high above that ball, actually, but we're trying to make something happen. Quick work from him to see a seam in the block and find space to push that ball through and score.
3rd kill today, hitting .333 now, along with 4 digs.
What a dig from Kai Schmidt.
Off the block there. Here's Wagner. Right into the wall. Big time block from the Gauchos.
Just a tough play there. You can feel the pressure just a little bit, trying to make something happen, same way he did on that last one. And tried to hit high hands, but it's so tough. You have 6'10" in front of you. And 6'10" Bruning who can jump and get up there. So sometimes hard to find space.
Good idea from Carrera. Here's a free ball. Back row, Snooey. The violation, the whistle goes off. A break for the Gauchos once again.
Snooey called, going over the line there. It's a little bit of a leading issue and timing issue with his connection with Little Phillips on that back row attack. He really wants to go after it. He also can attack very quickly on that ball, but just a little bit of timing on the height of that set. You can see that with the fact that he is pushing that ball over each time. And that last one, he was trying to get there, unfortunately stepped on the line. And for anyone watching who doesn't know, the rule there, if you're attacking out of the back row, you cannot step on that 10-foot line when you're attacking there. You have to stay behind that line if you want to hit the ball.
The Gauchos out hitting the Cardinal 161 to 152 here in the first set. Also out blocking. They've got 3 as a squad. 2 for Stanford on the other side.
So both teams here pretty evenly matched so far, but just a couple more unforced errors and a couple more hitting errors for the Cardinal here. But just tough that it's accumulating now at the end, especially when they had the lead and had control of this match early on. But UCSB has slowly chipped away at this. They've had some up and down moments, but have stayed steady for the most part. We really only saw them on their heels in the early first part of this set. And after that, you saw their confidence start to build, saw the connection start to build as the set has gone on.
And you've mentioned just how important defense has been at times for both teams. Teo Snooey leading with 4 digs for the Cardinal, 3 for Kai Schmidt, but 4 for Riggs Guy. Over on the Santa Barbara side, 3 apiece for Schobel and Pearson, and then a couple for Dylan Pilkfist too. It's been pretty spread out.
A lot of coverage on the floor on both teams. Doing a really good job defending. Definitely read their scouting reports before this matchup.
Wagner comes out of the break, gets the point. Little momentum trying to shift back to the Cardinal.
A big swing and a much needed swing there coming out of the timeout. Cardinal in the last few timeouts have come back with an answer, showing good momentum. Try to keep UCSB from closing out this set.
Ryan Ross at the line into the net. A tough one. That's going to make it set point for the Gauchos, who lead 24-21.
A tough serve from Duras there. You could see that one on the toss. He really had to chase that ball into the court. That toss just too far in front of him and too low for him to get to, unfortunately.
Wagner off the block. There's the setup. Dug up by Rotman. Here's Snooey. In the back row, into the net, recovered by the Gauchos. Getting the touch. Here's the setup. Back row, Wagner keeps Stanford alive.
A great swing there from Wagner. He sees it. You could see in his approach to that ball, he knew he was going to have those 2 solid blockers in front of him. Hit that ball even higher. The exact adjustment he needed to make there. Really impressive swing from him.
Wagner came into this one 3rd in the MPSF, 3.92 kills per set. Big dig. Cardinal keeping it going. Here's Snooey. Pushes it over, recovers. Back set. Wagner again, way long. And that's going to do it. The UC Santa Barbara Gauchos take the first set, 25-22. It was back and forth, but the Gauchos pushed through to end up on top.
Definitely a battle, and this is not over yet. They will try to come back with an answer in this second set. This is looking like it's going to be a long one. Trading points back and forth that entire set so far. As I said earlier, a few points ago, just a couple of unforced errors from the Cardinal, but they are right there in it with UCSB. So coming back out of the timeout, making some of those adjustments, maybe trying to keep those service errors down a little bit more, especially in those pivotal moments. And also for the Cardinal, trying to find other ways to score. We saw some of them making those adjustments in real time, trying to hit the ball a little bit higher. You have a big block in front of you, but also finding another way to score. And I know a part of this is that connection with a new setter on the floor with them in the freshman Little Phillips.
A solid start for the Gauchos. The Cardinal did out-hit them at the end, 154 to 143. We'll see what happens in set number 2. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Welcome back here to Maples Pavilion. Number 17, UC Santa Barbara took the first set from the number 14 hosts, the Stanford Cardinal, 25 to 22. About to start here in the second set, and something that you have mentioned, Naya, is that Jacob Little Phillips is the freshman coming in. We typically see Theron Briette, the senior, in that setter's role, and they're adjusting a little bit.
You're seeing them adjust in real time. You have players on the floor who have been together for 3 to 4 years now at this point. And you have Little Phillips coming in to fill a role, as you said, with Briette, who is their star setter who's been there for so long, and he knows his players really like the back of his hand. And Little Phillips, still very impressive to have to step into this role. And it's a lot. You're adjusting as a freshman to the college game, and you're adjusting to a new team, especially with a new team with older and experienced players on the floor. But we are seeing those moments. We've seen them gel, and we're seeing some moments of adjustment there. One of those being this set 2 in the back row, 2 Snewy here. The timing has just been a little bit off for them so far in this matchup, but that's going to come with time.
We talked about how Little Phillips, too, stands at 6'2", which in the men's volleyball world is a little bit undersized. So something to keep an eye on as we continue. We're tied at 1 here. There's Rotman into the block, recovering. Rotman tries to keep it going. He'll hit the video board. It'll go out of play. And an early lead here for the Gauchos, 2-1.
Just a tough play there. I think that sometimes is what happens, mentality on the floor. You want to get something going so that everyone starts taking big swings. But again, as I said in the first set, you have a very solid block in front of you. And not only that, but with UCSB, you're seeing on the block, they're pretty closed on a lot of these blocks too. So there's not a lot of space on the seam all of the time for them. We've seen the Cardinal find some moments where they're pushing tempo and able to get those seams and create those seams on the block, but having that in front of you, trying to take a big swing, really having to see the floor and read the play.
Tied again here at 2, Rotman at the service line. Moses Wagner still leading with a match high at 6 kills. Big time swing, nearly keeping it going, but too much power from Santa Barbara.
I thought Kai Schmidt was going to run over and try to kick that ball up.
So
he was so close. You could see the hesitation he was about to. He was thinking about it. That ball ricocheting between two players. Big swing as UCSB leads 3-2 in the second set.
Dylan Pilquist at the line, in there for the ace. The freshman adds to the lead.
What a tough serve there. That ball literally just dropped on that back line. I can see why they thought it was out, but it was still very close. There's some communication in that back row on the serve receive.
Dylan's twin brother Ryan also on the roster, another freshman for Santa Barbara. That's off the video board, stays on the Santa Barbara side. We play on. Over to Wagner. That's dug up. Cross court. Nice swing. Ben Pearson.
Big cross court swing there. And you see Rotman trying to get to that ball. Maybe a little bit off from his defensive position in that spot on the block. That's also difficult. You talked about Little Phillips and the height on the block at 6'2". That does create just a little bit of a disadvantage there in difference in height between your two blockers on the pin.
In the back row, Rotman with some momentum. What defense as they keep it alive on the Gaucho side. There's Wagner again, tooling the block. Cardinal with the point.
Huge swing there from Wagner. Taking that ball straight down into the block of UCSB. That ball flying out of bounds. They continue to push points here.
Match high 7th kill for Moses Wagner. He's got a dig in a block, hitting .222. Aruya makes it look easy. That's his second today.
So fast on that set and that swing there from Aruya. I mean, that one's a tough one. There was no time for middle blocker McFall to even get up on that play.
Bruning, strong serve. Quick set, successful. Luke McFall gets Stanford back in it.
The Cardinals said, okay, that was really fast. We had no time to adjust. Let's try it on our side too. Great play. They were also seeing that connection growing stronger between Little Phillips and McFall on the play. We saw that at the end of the last set as well.
2 kills for McFall, hitting .667. There's the 7th service error for the Cardinal. It's going to give a 3-point lead now to UCSB.
I talked about this in the first set too for the Cardinal. As you said, 6 service errors to UCSB, they're 4, but for the Cardinals specifically, those service errors have been at really pivotal points for them where they are starting to gain a little bit of confidence and momentum. So one of those tough things of trying to stay in it in a matchup like this.
Yeah, I gave the set point to UCSB last time around, but the point right here to the Cardinal, they're back within 2.
With McFall going up there with just a fist, popping that ball back over. Seeing that he has a few players in front of him ready to defend. It's a smart play there.
Teo Snui. In the back. Rotman right there. Santa Barbara, I think, wondering if there was some collision with the net there, but the point going to the Cardinal there within 1.
Little off timing from Bruning as he went in, but he tried to play that off of the block, calling that a lift. They were hoping that was still going to be in play for them. And as we talked about, those service errors, so tough. It's always that balance. One thing I always talk about a lot in volleyball, both in men and women's, is that balance between wanting to put a lot of power and pressure on that serve to make the serve receive on the other side have to work to pass a good ball there, but it's always that fine line between that and a service error. So really difficult. I think the net violation there is Little Phillips running to get that ball. So some unforced errors here in the last few points for the Cardinal.
And that tends to be a little bit more mental, doesn't it? Even at times, even more so than physically. At the net. Here's Rotman. That'll fall in. Alex Rotman adds another one.
Alex Rotman has come in place of who we usually see in that outside position, and Nate Clinton. So stepping up as one of the younger players on the floor.
His older brother Will was an All-American here at Stanford. Big time from the southpaw, Schobel. And another one.
That lefty swing that he takes, being a lefty setter is so lethal, especially if you're a lefty setter that can hit the ball. No one has been ready for that in the last 2 times he's done it. He sneaks it in, as we've seen so far, at very opportune moments.
Service error there. That'll give an opportunity over to the Cardinal at the service line. They trail by 2. Cole Schobel is the Big West Setter of the Week on January 12th. Bruning was also the Offensive Player of the Week in the Big West. And there's a big swing there. Pilkvist added once again.
Pilkvist, that's his 2nd kill on the match so far. That's one thing with UCSB, just a lot of speed on these arm swings here that we're seeing. And Schobel just so efficient with his tempo and getting the ball to his players. But wow,
that's
look at that
the rhythm
play.
You were talking about, I think, Naya, that they're looking for. Kamana Carrera, the sophomore, his 4th.
That is the rhythm, and that is the swing. And I know that's the swing he's been waiting for as well. It's something that we've seen at moments, not as consistently all the time. It's so impressive.
Back set, off the block. Here's Snooey, gets the touch and the kill. Double digits for the Cardinal, they're within 1.
These last 2 plays, this is the Cardinal that we're used to seeing, that lively energy, those big swings from both players, and we're seeing that continuing to build the confidence of one of the youngest players on the floor in Little Phillips.
Snooey and Carrera both with 4 kills apiece now. Cross court, off the block. Handled. Here's Snooey, pushes it down. Gets the point, tied up.
Big aggressive push there. I remember in women's college volleyball wanting to do that sometimes. I would get called on those. So impressive. But a much needed point here for the Cardinal.
A little bit of momentum for Stanford. Here's Rotman at the line. 3-0 scoring run. Big swing there, some power behind that one.
Taking advantage of a smaller block in front of him on that side, hitting that straight down the line. So taking a moment here, Alex Rotman getting his knee wrapped, looks like. Maybe a little bit of an injury there on the calf. Really the shin, I guess. We're back in it now. 1 point difference. And we knew that this matchup, just trading off points back and forth. This is going to be a battle, as I said, coming into the 2nd set. And we're seeing it here. Both teams also very equal.
Pilkvist with the serve. Little Jacobs with the back set. From the back row, Moses Wagner. Match high 8 kills.
Wagner is going off right now. And as I mentioned, with both teams being very equal right now, they've had both of their moments of having a little bit lower team hitting percentages. Now both back up, with UCSB hitting 213 on the match, but 417 in this current set. And now after that last kill from Wagner, Stanford hitting 438 and 236 on the match here. So
both were sub 200 in the first set. Point to Stanford. They will take the lead 13-12.
And it speaks to the defense on both sides, not making it easy for anyone on either side of the court, as we talked about trading points back and forth in the middle. So two teams that are playing in some ways very equal here.
Here's Carrera. Pearson diving to keep it going is Rotman. Short set. A little off there, and the whistle blown, and the point to Santa Barbara. Those are some of those moments you've talked about too, Naya, where Stanford had a little bit of momentum, but then it shifted right back to Santa Barbara.
Yeah, and as you talked about, just all the adjustments that they're making on their side. When that happens, you're gonna have that ebb and flow. But really, it's how do you respond after that happens?
There it is, the freshman, Little Phillips, taking it himself. Stanford retakes the lead.
So impressive. Coming in, not afraid. He's like, okay, you got 2 on me. I've got to trade 1 back to you now.
6 different Cardinal players have now registered a kill. That serve goes long, and we're tied up again at 14, the 9th service error of the night for Stanford.
That's really tough. 9 service errors against a team like UCSB that is very good, has been on a winning streak, has done very well with managing and minimizing errors when they can. It's very difficult to find momentum again, as we're seeing here. Massive jump serve there.
When you follow up the service error and get yourself an ace, gives you a little bit of momentum, and right now Santa Barbara has it 15-14 in the lead here in the second set. Back at it here after the break in Maples Pavilion, the number 17 UC Santa Barbara Gauchos lead the Cardinal 15-14. So far here in the second set, the Gauchos took set number 1, 25-22. Contentious second set underway. Short set, beautiful execution, Luke McFall.
Look at that swing. I saw a couple of moments of that energy. One other point so far throughout this match that we can see as they start to get comfortable and really start to connect with their new setter on the floor.
What a save there, and a free ball here. Here's Rotman. Gets the point.
I heard the crowd wasn't too happy about that last play, but it was legal. It's crazy how that works. See the speed there on that last swing.
Cardinal retook the lead and then tied it right back with the service error. That's double digits tonight at the line.
Jenna, we talked about that during the timeout. We've been chatting a little bit about the serves and the service errors and how for the Cardinal that has been something that has been such a momentum killer. You have a team that is adjusting and trying to find their rhythm. It's really tough to maintain that rhythm when you miss a serve. It's a little bit different in my opinion for UCSB. It's a team that we see has already been gelling pretty well together. So in those moments with a missed serve, of course, yes, it's tough for that to happen, but we're seeing that they're really able to still maintain that level of play even with that, whereas we've seen a little bit of a difference in that with the Cardinal.
That was the 6th service error for the Gauchos. Carson Kneisel at the line, the junior. Off the block. Snooey with the set. Here's Wagner. To the back line. Moses Wagner with his 9th kill.
Snooey getting him that out-of-system set right on the net there. So he goes up and takes a rip, almost going over that big block in front of him to find space in that back court. Really great play there and that communication. That speaks to that connection between Wagner and Snooey and the time that they've spent together on the floor here at Stanford.
And we talked about how, yes, it's been a tough start for Stanford, 0-3 so far, but they have played 3 ranked teams back to back to start their season. First, it was number 12 Lewis. You were on the call for that one, Naya. Then it was on the road at the First Point Collegiate Challenge. Number 6 Loyola Chicago, 5 sets that they went there in Phoenix, and then it was number 16 Ball State most recently to round out their time in Phoenix in 4 sets. So it has not been an easy slate when you start with 4 ranked teams on your schedule.
Not easy at all. And we're seeing that adjustment in real time with them, but even still, watching those players that we know are the leaders on the floor continue to try to step up. You're seeing that, as I talked about, with Wagner, with Snooey, but also with Alex Rotman. Last match that they had against Ball State, 10 kills for Rotman. He really stepped up, hitting 381, 16 kills from Wagner, and 14 kills from Snooey. So you're used to those pin hitters now. It's been a little bit of a difference. We're used to, in the beginning, seeing Nate Clinton, especially at the end of last season, and having a new face on the floor, and a couple new faces, really, in some of the adjustments there. We talked a little bit about the middles and how they have so much depth on the floor with their middle blockers. Today, we're seeing Kamana Carrera, who we're used to seeing start. Obviously, as you said, leads the team in hitting percentage, but Luke McFall coming in for the start today. And really, for both of them, showing up very impressive so far in this match.
Cardinal hit 315 against Ball State. They hit 358 against Loyola Chicago. Right now in this match, 262 overall, but 455 here in the second set so far. They lead by 2. Here's Kneisel out of the break. Just long. 11th service error, exactly what we've talked about, Naya.
Yeah, it's a tough one there. For them, really focusing here, trying to get this side out. So they're going to get the serve from this tough jump serve from Schobel.
Tough matchup there at the net. UCSB with the height advantage, and they will tie it up at 18.
We knew Schobel was going for that one. We saw that in the toss. He puts a lot of power on his serves there, really going after Snooey in the back court.
Schobel's been a bit of a silent assassin there, strong at the line as that one just goes a touch long. 15 assists, couple of kills, 5 digs, and a block to his name today as well. Cardinal retake the lead though.
As you said, a setter who's a weapon in the front row going up to hit too, but Cardinal needing that break there from the missed serve.
Wagner out of system there. In there on the line. That'll work if you're the Gauchos.
Just a good swing there from Bruning. Textbook cross court from the outside hitter.
This is actually the first ranked opponent this season for UC Santa Barbara. They faced Kentucky State, Maryville, Harvard, and the Masters. 4-0 to start, undefeated. First ranked opponent here on the road as that goes long.
So a couple of service errors for UCSB, keeping the Cardinal in this one here. And this is what we saw Stanford do in the last set, where they had the lead, had a couple missed serves to let UCSB back in. Now it's flipped.
Ryan DuRoss with the serve. Short set into the block for the Cardinal. Off the block there. Setting it up for Snooey. Here's the setup to Pearson. Whistle for UC Santa Barbara. We're back tied at 20.
Oh, what a tough play to hit the net on. That dig out of the back row, especially from a swing like that, keeping that ball in play. They were so close. Just a tough error on the net there, but I understand it's the enthusiasm trying to get the hands all the way over the net to get the block.
The setup from the back row to Wagner, dug up. From the back row here for Santa Barbara, point to the Cardinal. They retake the lead.
Rough error there for Riggs' guy. Trying to go after that swing out of the back row. Running a pipe attack there, but just misses.
Serving 20. There's the lefty with the strong serve. Free ball here. Short set into the block. Fired up. Luke McFall stands tall.
What a great read on the block. Let's talk about that. That play, first of all, the back set from Schobel, beautiful. But the Cardinal defend. He goes back, tries to run a different play, trying to stop the middle blocker on that middle attack, and they still stayed in to read on that block. Really impressive.
Here's Pearson with the roll shot. Trying the dump, rolls off the tape, off the video board here. Pearson pushes it. Handled by Wagner. Here's Snooey. Into the block. Gauchos back within one.
Yeah, that play, when he went up, I was thinking he might try to turn that one line just based on where that set was coming from and the height that it reached when he got to the ball. But it's really hard to turn a ball like that down line on someone like Bruning, who is so far over the net. You really don't have a ton of space. If he was going to do that, he really almost needed to turn that ball even harder off of the hands and out.
And Bruning at the line. Rotman tried to pancake it, but the ace in the hole. Tied again at 22.
Cardinal trying to call that ball up, so they're going to maybe challenge. I see Coach Fossey talking to the down ref right now on that.
Well, they'll take another look. Opportunity for both squads to talk to their respective head coaches and staffs.
So we'll see. Get another look at this. I'm not sure if we will, but we're going to review that play to see if that ball was actually up. And if it is, it has to be totally on your hand on the floor. It cannot be half on your hand, somewhat touching the floor. So they are looking to see if that ball was actually on, I think, the hand of Alex Rotman in that last play.
Yep. And it's a big swing that this could be, right? As it was called on the court, tied at 22. If it's overturned some way, you know, that shifts it a couple of points of it. So smart move by head coach John Costi at this point in the match to ask them to take another look.
So we'll see here. They weren't successful with the first challenge, unfortunately. See if we get point overturned. We're tied 22-22.
The Stanford women's volleyball team is in the house cheering on and supporting their counterparts with the men's volleyball squad. Made it to the Sweet 16 in their postseason run this past season.
Okay, they're going to call a replay. So no points given on either side, but a replay. So staying tied here in such a tense moment in the match.
So that'll take away that last point from UCSB. We'll go back to where we were before, redo. So Stanford up by 1. Bruning still at the line. Good serve again, handled this time. There's Snooey, tools it. And just like that, up by 2.
As I just talked about on that last play when he tried to go for that line shot, we have the score table that got pushed from that last play right into us. But as I talked about in that last play with Snooey going up to attack, that was the shot there. He sees that he has a solid block in front of him, wants to turn that ball line, but hits that, takes a little bit off and off the hands and out. And a huge block straight down on Bruning.
Maples is fired up. That's the way you keep momentum on your side. And now it's set point for the Cardinal. They lead 24-21.
Talked about how pivotal that challenge was going to be, and we're seeing it paying dividends right now for the Cardinal.
Off the top of the net. The Pearson joust at the net. Here's the setup to Bruning. Santa Barbara stays alive. Bruning with his 5th kill.
UCSB really pushing here to stay in this. The Cardinal trying to close out and get this second set under their belt. You see the serve from Ben Pearson as he goes back to the line.
22 serving 24. Still set point Cardinal. Set up to Wagner. That's going to do it. Moses Wagner, his 10th kill and the 25th point here in the second set to close it out. Stanford ties it up 1 set apiece. Identical, but flipped 25-22 this time.
So really impressive finish here for the Cardinal. I talked about both of these teams being pretty equal at different moments throughout this matchup, and we're seeing it here, trading 1-1 apiece. Heading now into the 3rd set.
2 sets in the books. Set number 3 coming up right now. Number 17, UC Santa Barbara in town, taking on number 14, the Stanford Cardinal, tied at 1 set apiece. 25-22 the score for both. Starting with a block here, the Cardinal will take that set 2 momentum and bring it right into set 3.
Starting off strong there, the block from Kamana Carrera straight down. He continues to pad his points. That's his 2nd block on the match.
Luke McFall at the line. Bruning on the far side finds the floor. The Gauchos answer right away.
That block from the Cardinal left a little bit of space there. Had a seam for him to swing right into and down for Bruning. Took a little bit off on that one. We've seen him take some pretty strong swings here so far, but just a smart placement there on that last one.
Tough one into the net there. The 9th service error for UC Santa Barbara.
Both teams, high service errors already to start getting into this 3rd set here. But what happens when you're trying to put a lot of pressure on the serve receive on the other side? These are 2 teams that have very powerful hitters in all positions. So you really want to try to get them out of system.
Go ahead.
Both teams running a very fast offense too, so really difficult when they're in system.
12 service errors for Stanford, 9 for UCSB. Gauchos recover there. Pearson, big dig, hits the video board and goes over the net. Cannot do that, so UCSB with the point. If it hits the video board and stays on your side, you can play on, but if it crosses over to the other side, play is over.
It's always interesting seeing men's volleyball here in Maples because the sheer amount of balls that do hit the video board and basically go into the ceiling, even outside of the video board, is impressive.
Just long from Moses Wagner. UCSB now up by 2.
So Moses Wagner just long on that last swing there. Someone who helped close out that 2nd set. 10 kills on the match so far.
The only one with double digits. Here's Bruning. Tough one, Snooey keeps it alive. And here's a free ball. Over to Bruning again, into the block. That'll do it.
So that same swing again, we see Bruning go up. He takes a little bit off of that swing too, but this time the Cardinal are closed on the block with Kamana Carrera and Snooey on that outside pin. So they're steady, they're in the right spot to get the block on that last play.
Early days still here in the 3rd set. Stanford in the negative right now in hitting percentage. UC Santa Barbara right at 0. But overall, Cardinal out hitting the Gauchos 229 to 147. And a nice touch there from Pearson.
I think that might be the first actual tip we've seen so far in this match. I think that was the first one. We saw Snooey at some points pushing the ball through the block, but that one actually was a tip right to the middle. No one on defense was ready for that at all.
5 serving 3. Cross court to Snooey, tries to push it, but runs right into the wall.
Yeah, that was tough play there. A little bit trapped on that set. You have 6'10" and 6'7" in front of you, and they already beat him to the ball on that last play.
Hillquist again. Set over. Trying to communicate. Here's Wagner. That's dug up. Over to Bruning. With the kill. Some power behind that swing that time.
You can just tell from the tempo from Schobel when he gets Bruning his ball before he even touches it. Just that set to him, putting it right in the exact spot for him to go get that ball over the block and down.
3-0 scoring run for the Gauchos. Wagner puts it away.
Wagner got on that ball fast, almost flying underneath the net there, getting his feet to that one. And also someone with a very fast arm swing.
His 11th kill tonight, that's still a match high. Hitting .269 now. It's Carrera at the line. Aruya. Here's the set from Little Phillips. Staying alive here, the Cardinal. Snooey. Here's Pearson. Tries to tool the block there. Does it. He's all smiles.
All shock. He looks like he knows he might have missed that one. So they're going to challenge it. He said there's no touch on that, but I think the ref thought with the way that he swiped outside of the hands that maybe he got a piece of somebody, but I don't think I heard it on that last play.
That was certainly the intent. The question is, did he execute that one? And they will take another look. Obviously, the last video review went the Cardinals' way. It was a smart decision. Helped set up the rest of the set for them to take it to tie things up here, one apiece.
We'll see from that last play. It was a difficult one. That out-of-system set just pushed too tight to the net. So trying to make something happen there. Ben Pearson, but the Cardinal here trailing behind UCSB. And we talked about some of the differences here and some of the similarities between these two teams, specifically on the service errors there. Both have had quite a few errors, really high errors so far in this match. But for the Cardinal, a bigger difference at this early part of the third set has been the hitting percentage for them. So that connection there, really trying to find that again. For UCSB, starting off a little bit stronger here on their offense.
UCSB hitting 300 here in the third set. The Cardinal in the negative, -125. Stanford still overall out hitting UCSB 213 to 178, but this particular set has leaned towards the Gauchos.
So something that UCSB does very well with their set and their block. And speak to Coach McLaughlin, and he coached two players to different national awards. Casey McGarry in 2021 won the Volleyball Award that's given to the nation's best setter. And Dylan Davis, and back in 2013, won the 2013 National Blocker of the Year Award. So you can tell that's definitely a staple for this team and where they really excel.
That 2021 year was when the Gauchos won the Big West Championship, made it to the national semifinals in the NCAA tournament. It'll be ruled out, no touch. The point will be awarded to the Cardinal. Rick McLaughlin now asking his questions to the officials.
Pearson really looking for that touch. You can see them chatting back and forth here. Are you sure? Are you sure?
Thought he might have got away with something there.
He did. I think they're both, what's happening now is both are trying to see who's lying. Was that actually out? Are you smiling because you know that ball is out and you're trying to get a touch, or are you smiling because you know it touched your hand going out and you got lucky? It's a little bit of chirping here.
It actually looks like it might be taking another look. Saw Rick McLaughlin chatting a bit with the official, now looking at the screen once again.
I don't think I've ever seen multiple reviews like this in a challenge
back-to-back
before. So interesting.
And it's confirmed.
Well, that was tough for UCSB to let that one go, but.
So they double-checked, then they triple-checked.
So we're going to get back into some gameplay here. Players needed to warm back up a little bit after that long break.
Now the score sits at 7 Gauchos, 5 Cardinal. So 5 serving 7 here with Carrera at the line. Floats it over. Aruya. Cardinal recover. Here's a free ball. From the back row. Getting it done. Riggs Guy, the sophomore.
That's the set Riggs Guy was looking for in the second set when he hit the pipe out of the back row. That ball that went out. It's that speed and that connection right there with Schobel that they've been looking for.
Guy and Bruning both leading the team with 7 kills apiece. There's the touch from Rotman. Haven't seen a ton of those. Big swing from Schobel. He'll tool the block. His 3rd kill tonight.
Schobel just going after it. He was already hitting 1,000. No errors. Each time he's gone for it, he's scoring. The ball's not even kept in play.
3 attempts, 3 kills. He's got 19 assists tonight, 9 digs, and a block as well. That goes long. Cardinal get a bit of a break there. They now trail by 3.
So the freshman setter, Little Phillips, back to serve now. Cardinal trying to push points here and cut down on this UCSB lead.
Violation there at the net, so the Cardinal with the break again. They're within 2.
Even though that play was over, Schobel can really bounce the ball.
Just 6'1", too. We talked about the height of some of these folks on both teams. Bruning at 6'10". There's Arroyo, perfectly timed and executed. His 3rd kill.
Speaking of bouncing the ball, really impressive swing out of the middle.
Pearson at the line. He's limited by injury a bit last year. He's gotten in a rhythm so far this season. Snooey into the block.
That point to the Cardinal. That one was really close where that landed. Very, very close to the line. Riggs guy really wanted that one.
Off the top of the net. Back set. Bruning gets the touch, gets the kill. Now a team high, 8 kills for Bruning.
Massive swing there for him. He's just hitting 0 for that last play. 7 kills, 7 errors. Now 8 kills. So he's had some adjustments there on his attack so far in the match.
Miscommunication. Here's the set. Pearson goes wide and long. Cardinal back within 2.
So a couple of hitting errors for UCSB. The Cardinal chipping away at this lead, finding their way back in. It's middle blocker Luke McFall to serve.
Floats it over. Into the block. Tooled it. Guy. Tied at 8 for the team high as well.
Riggs guy so fast on that attack there. He's someone that Schobel, as you can see as you're watching, he sets him really the fastest. Very much lower and fast set when he goes up to attack. It's been a little difficult for the block to defend its points.
Over to Rotman. That's off the block. Schobel with the setup. The short set, miscommunication. Cardinal now with double digits.
Miscommunication in a different play that he was hoping to run there from that attack. So they might try that again here.
Moses Wagner now at the line. Still leading the match with 11 kills, but that'll be the 13th service error there for the Stanford Cardinal tonight. They trail by 3 once again.
It's a tough one there. They're starting to get into a rhythm before missing that last serve.
Riggs guy will back it up with another service error. They'll trade him. Now 13-11, Gauchos in front.
So now we're back with Alex Rotman, the redshirt junior at 6'6". Stepped up, he had 10 kills last match.
There's a set from Bruning. Schobel. Once again to Pearson, pushes it down. Found the rhythm there for the Gauchos. They're back up by 3.
What a play there from Pearson. Even though he had a little bit of a smaller block in front of him, still decided to go right over and push that ball down into the middle of the court.
14 serving 11. Dylan Pilkfist. Into the net. They've got a dozen now. They're trailing just by 1 in terms of service errors to Stanford.
12 service errors for UCSB to Stanford's 13. So we're seeing so far both teams a little bit equal in some of these plays.
Over to Bruning. Off the block. Back set to Wagner, just long.
So the error there for Wagner on that last swing, but they are going to challenge, looking for a touch on that last play. So what are you seeing from Stanford so far? Difference, they're down, it's 12-15 right now. Obviously, we'll see what happens after this challenge call, but anything you're noticing about just their connection on the floor, a little bit of the energy? Just curious on what they need to do in this moment to really try to change the tide here in this third set.
Yeah, I think you and I talked about early on and off air just the need for rhythm and having that team chemistry. And they started to find that a little bit, I think, in the second set. Here in the third set, they had some of it early on. They're slightly disconnected a little bit now. They're hitting in the negative, for example, here in the third set. UC Santa Barbara, on the other hand, hitting 174, but still better than the Cardinal overall. So putting the pressure on, I think a lot of it may be on the mental side, really, for the Cardinal. What do you think?
I think you're right. A lot of it definitely is mental, and it's interesting because at some points we're seeing that high energy, we're seeing them really go after it, but I know we talked about the difference in having a new young setter on the floor, but even still, I mean, Little Phillips is on the floor, and I feel like he's been playing with a lot of confidence. He's really been trying to adjust. He's not playing scared, but I know that when it comes to having someone new in that space, you really are adjusting. That's tempo, it's height, it's all of those things. It's the approach to the ball, and so we've seen some of those moments, but we've also seen some bright spots so far in these last few sets where they've really gelled and really connected. And for me, here what I'm seeing, even looking at the stats, I mean, even with UCSB leading, they still have more hitting errors, 3 more hitting errors than Stanford, but I think for the Cardinal, it really has been those service errors. We talked about that in pivotal moments for them. UCSB, as we've seen so far, a team that has been able to maintain a lead a little bit longer than the Cardinal have at some points. The Cardinal did a really good job of that in the first set, UCSB coming out on top at the end, but something for them to work on, as you talked about, building that rhythm and that momentum. You have to do that with consistency.
Consistency, that's right. That's the key. Last set in set number 2, which Stanford won, they hit 393. So to now, more than halfway through in the third set here to be hitting in the negative, if you're head coach John Costi, you're not loving the extremes there. It's that consistency that's absolutely key.
And definitely with a team like this, where we know that they are coming at you with 100% everything that they have, it can be really hard to keep up with that momentum if you can't maintain that consistency on your side. So that'll be really the answer coming out of this after we see from this challenge play. This is the moment now for them to try to change the tide and start to build back in this third set.
Officials took a thorough look at that one. The call is reversed. There was a touch. Stanford will get the point. So John Costi 2 for 3 so far. The last 2 have been successful for him in the Cardinal.
Yeah, they are killing it on the challenges so far in this matchup. Seeing those pivotal moments as we talked about earlier.
And it's huge. It goes from 15 to 11 in favor of the Gauchos to, with that reverse, it's now 14 to 13. All of a sudden, it's a 1-point set. It's evened up a little bit more, and here's Carrera at the line.
I've always said this point in a match, when you get to the 15s, is where you really start to see where each team is going to go as you get closer to the end of the set.
I think Aruya heard you because he wanted to get right back at 15 right there, and as he did. 15-13 now for the Gauchos.
So both teams here. Another lead for UCSB. The Cardinal trying to stay in this. And for UCSB, they're coming off of a 4-match winning streak to start the season. So they have not had a loss yet. And they're hoping to continue that trend tonight. Cardinal coming off of some tough, as you said earlier, tough losses, but against top-ranked teams and still adjusting on the floor. But we have a lot of returners here for the Cardinal, but unfortunately some injuries there. We saw that with Nate Clinton, saw that with Briette. Their starting senior setter not on the floor tonight. I've had to make some adjustments, but adjustments in really pivotal spots on the floor.
And reiterating once again, too, the schedule that Stanford has had, this is their 4th consecutive ranked opponent that they have had. Not their first home match. They did host Lewis, number 12 Lewis, to open the season in Burnham Pavilion, another facility here on campus at Stanford, but their first match here in Maples Pavilion on campus, going up against UC Santa Barbara. And for the Cardinal, being a part of the MPSF, they were picked 4th in the preseason poll out of the 10 teams. UCLA picked to potentially take a 5th straight conference championship. Pepperdine and USC right after, and Stanford in the mix in the top half of the conference. So it's a tough start, but some great experience that they're getting regardless that'll help prepare them for conference slate.
Absolutely, and a really deep talent pool on so many of these teams so far. And as you said, this is going to prepare them for once they get to the end of the season, especially if they're wanting to go into postseason. So all of these moments matter for both teams, but especially for the Cardinal as they continue to build.
Strong serve from the Gauchos. Here's Wagner, runs right into it. The Gauchos with some momentum out of the break.
So a solid block in front of Wagner on that last play. Nowhere to go, and something I've seen with UCSB so far, they really haven't been caught too many times with leaving a big seam on the block. We have a triple block here in front of Snooey.
Pushed over, free ball. Schobel over to Pearson. Gets the kill. Gauchos coming out with a vengeance.
So this is that point in the match. Right before that timeout was called, I was just going to say that this is that pivotal moment in the match where you see one team start to really try to take off on that momentum. And as I'm saying that, Coach Costi saw the same thing, and he's like, let's put a stop to this right now. Let's take a moment. We had a long break, actually multiple long breaks with the challenges so far, and that also is difficult. As much as we had a moment where we thought some of the plays were fun, but really, truly, it is difficult for the players to keep your head in the game when you have those long breaks like that. And while challenges are so important to the game, that is something that can also make or break as you continue on in gameplay. So needing to take a moment to reflect on the last 2 points here and not wanting UCSB to get too far away in this 3rd set.
Because they can. We talked many times about how they're undefeated, off to a great start with a 4-match win streak. And they haven't yet played a ranked opponent until today, but the rhythm that they have shown has been key. They were picked in the Big West, tied for 4th. So there's 6 total teams, a smaller conference on that end. Long Beach State, the defending national champions, were picked to win it. Hawaii, Irvine, and then CSUN, Cal State Northridge, UC San Diego, and Santa Barbara were all tied right underneath there. So a competitive conference slate for them as well. It's a Big West MPSF clash here that could be really interesting when you start thinking about later down the line in postseason.
Yes, and as we said before that last timeout, that every moment here does matter for that postseason play. I saw that with the Cardinal at the end of the last season, and how some of those pivotal moments in those plays, it really did come down to 1 point. So how important it is to be dialed, especially on the serves, trying to eliminate those unforced errors. And really that connection on the floor.
Gauchos stick with it. Into the block. They recover. Here's the tip. We've only seen a handful of those. Pearson definitely tooled it that time. And the Gauchos now extend the lead even further.
Pearson with a big smile on his face. He's been looking to score off of a play like that, and he gets the point on that last one. It's a really scrappy play between both teams there, even picking up that ball out of the block for UCSB.
Such a strong start for the Gauchos as Stanford answers there. McFall with the fist pump to get them back in the running. But Santa Barbara, you know, they finished tied for 4th in the regular season in the Big West last year. They were the number 5 seed in the tournament. They lost in the first round in 5 sets to UC San Diego. Maybe there's a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. You know you want to go further this season, and they've been fired up since the jump. There's Wagner off the block. He'll do it again. This time, finds it. Cardinal now at 15.
What a great swing there from Wagner as he goes up. You have a little bit of that difference there on the block between Aruya and Pearson. Takes advantage of that, hits right over the top of the fingers of Pearson to find space on that seam.
Cardinal finished 7th in the MPSF last year as UCSB adds another to the tally here. They did make it to their 4th straight tournament semifinal. They lost in 4 sets to USC. They got a couple of MPSF championships in their back pocket, but none since 2010.
So it's been a while for this team, and they are really looking to go far this season as Showbowl gets another point there. He is playing basically perfect on his attacks. So 20 points here for UCSB to the Cardinal 15, and really getting them on these little plays. Been very difficult these last 5 to 6 points for them to keep up here with UCSB, and I think that's what we've seen in the matches so far. They get on that stride and that momentum, and it's so hard to stop them.
Ben Pearson leading the way now for Santa Barbara with 9 kills. He's hitting .261. Guy and Bruning right behind with 8 kills apiece too. So it's been a bit spread out in a positive way there for the Gauchos. Moses Wagner still leading this match with 13 kills. He's hitting .267. Teo Snooey behind him with 7. Luke McFall with 5. And now 6 different Cardinal players have registered a kill in this one. They're going to need to bring in that rhythm once again. They're hitting just under 100 here in this 3rd set, whereas UC Santa Barbara hitting .276.
For the Cardinal coming out of this timeout, really needing to focus on trying to get a good pass to their setter. Want to try to run a little bit in system, and I know it's difficult with a serving team like UCSB, but that's what they're going to need here if they want to claw their way back here. 5 points down in this 3rd set. So one of the biggest focuses for them coming in. And definitely going to need that communication in the back row on that serve receive, because Ben Pearson has a very strong jump serve here and has challenged them a lot throughout this match.
He's got 2 aces on the day, 2 of the 3 that the Gauchos have registered tonight. Just out of rhythm, a touch there with McFall. Another point for the Gauchos. They're up by 6, the largest lead we've seen in this set.
Kai Schmidt handled that ball. It's pretty fast to the hands of Little Phillips though, but he tries to get that ball to Luke McFall, just a little too low on that set. It doesn't quite clear the tape.
Kai Schmidt, one of a couple of different liberos you see for the Cardinal.
They're going to call an error on that play. Calling an error when he pushed the ball. So the upref is saying that Snooey on that last play, when he pushed the ball into the hands of the UCSB block, that he actually hit the antenna, but Cardinal are saying that they feel like it was the hand of the UCSB block that hit the antenna. So I don't know if they are going to challenge this. I think they may have one last challenge left.
It does appear the officials are taking another look. Moses Wagner came over to speak with one of the officials as well.
It's a tough play there.
Call in the court is that it is UCSB's point. If that stands, they would remain 7 points in the lead, 22-15.
So we'll see after the review here.
Reversed net violation. So the last 3 video reviews that we have seen have been reversed in favor of the Cardinal. So rather than that 7-point lead, we've now switched to a 5-point lead, 16 serving 21. Teo Snui at the line.
So a much needed point here for the Cardinal.
Idea from Schobel. Action at the net. Here's Bruning off the block. Short set. Moses Wagner, kill number 14.
Look at that play. Having Wagner come in to hit out of the middle. Little Phillips giving him that short set, that middle set. They're not ready for that on the defense, and he takes a huge swing.
Stanford trailing by 4. Free ball here, push to the back. Over to Rotman with the soft touch. The dump, Schobel. Read it beautifully.
Schobel continuing to impress. No one has had an answer for him tonight at the net. He makes his decisions so fast. That is really difficult to read. But it's something that when you are in the front, especially on that outside pin, you have to keep your eye on him. You've got to watch him. Watch his movements and see what he's doing there. He went up for that one and one hand pushed that one down.
Gauchos, fans, and the bench fired up for that one.
Right off the top of the tape. That is the bane of every volleyball player's existence. It's one of the worst. The best serve for the one serving it and the worst for the serve receive on the other side.
That's Owen Lonkar, the senior out of Pacific Palisades at the line. Here's Schobel, tries to go for it. Runs into a wall, but the point on the violation given to the Gauchos. It is set point, 24-17 in favor of the Gauchos.
That would have been the first time he'd been stopped on a swing if there wasn't an error on that play. So he still gets to maintain his perfect record on swings on the floor.
Lonkar again. Here's Wagner. Finds the floor. Stanford not done yet. They've got 18.
Big swing there. Try to slow this down here as UCSB has the game, the set point here in the third. Carson Kneisel now in to serve. He's come in the last few matches as a serving sub for the Cardinal.
Just long. 14th service error for the Cardinal, and that's gonna do it. The UC Santa Barbara Gauchos will take set number 3. They now lead 2-1. The number 17 team in the country going up against the hosts, number 14 Stanford Cardinal. We'll head to the 4th set in just a few minutes. 3 sets in the books here in Maples Pavilion. Number 17, UCSB, leads number 14, Stanford, 2 sets to 1. Cardinal coming with some changes on the court here as we enter the 4th set. That one's going to go in on the line. UCSB with the first points.
Some changes on the floor here. We have Eric Ask, 6'9" outside hitter from Sweden. So he's on the outside there, and made one change with Reed Wainwright coming in the middle blocker position.
Big time dig from Schobel there. Roll shot. There's Ask. Free ball. Reset. In the back row, Snooey tools the block. Stanford answers.
Big swing out of the back row. It's been a little more quiet on those back row attacks from Snooey so far in this matchup. Had a couple of unforced errors earlier on, just trying to get that timing and rhythm together when he's going for the swing there. So good way to start off this 4th set for the Cardinal.
Evan Porter in the court as a libero as well. As that goes long, another service error. That's number 15. Porter and Schmidt have been alternating, something we've seen throughout this young season. 2-1 UCSB, Riggs Guy. Recovered by the Gauchos. Diving to keep it alive. Little Phillips over to Ask, into the block. Go to Wagner this time. Tools it, gets the point. Tied up at 2.
Wagner making something happen on that last play. Little Phillips trying to get that ball back to him. Doesn't quite get high enough for him to take a big swing, but a smart play right into the hands and out of bounds.
Here's Ask. Softly over. I'll set it up again for Snooey into the block. Miss hit there by Carrera, tough one. And Santa Barbara with the lead once again.
Tough miscommunication there and a difficult play from that ball, and Kamana Carrera trying to keep it alive. Just misses that. So that point now back to UCSB.
Moses Wagner now with a match-high 16 kills. He has tied his performance against Ball State the last time out. Service error number 13 for the Gauchos.
So Reed Wainwright now back in the front, in the middle, as Kamana Carrera goes back to serve. We talked a little bit about this earlier, that there's some depth on the floor here as we see Coach Costi make some changes in the middle blocker position in each match.
Bruning. Got up by Ask. There's Snooey. They'll get the point. Teo Snooey now at double digits. He's just behind Moses Wagner with 10 kills.
A little scary there as Bruning goes down. Was really hoping that was not anything, and it wasn't. So didn't actually see if he landed on maybe his teammate there, slipped on the floor trying to get off of the block, but luckily everyone's okay on that last play. That point goes to the Cardinal.
Cleaned up the floor a little bit just in case. Aruya off the block, gets the kill. He's had some timely moments, and that's his 5th one tonight.
That ball coming back over to us. Just about cleared the table. And that point back to UCSB.
Aruya and Schobel hitting 7-14 each, leading the way for the Gauchos. The dump from Little Phillips, well read. A little goes a long way.
A little definitely goes a long way, and we saw him earlier take a big swing when he was on the net, so not afraid to go up and play on the other side.
He's at the line now, has an ace tonight. Only one for the Cardinal. Bruning with a big swing, a big dig. Joust at the net. UCSB thinks they got the touch, and that is the call.
Things have been so tense on the net here throughout this match and these plays. Each team fighting for the point there on who touched the ball. It's always very difficult so far. It's been difficult even for the refs to see on some of these. That's why we've had so many challenge plays.
Absolutely. Here's Pearson to serve. That goes long. 14 service errors for the Gauchos. Stanford has 15, but the difference at the line has been that UCSB has 4 aces. Stanford just with 1 tonight. Here's Snooey. Cross court. That'll get it done. Riggs Guy with his 9th.
Riggs Guy quietly sneaking up here in those kills. 2nd so far on the team in kills on the match. I said earlier, he's got such a fast arm swing. When he's on, it's been very difficult for the Cardinal to defend.
Set up. Goes out and wide, so the Cardinal will take the lead 7-6.
So on that last play, Cardinal on the block in some good spots. As I said, you see that speed there on that play, how fast. Even the tip that he's trying to push through the block there is so fast, but they're in good spots. They took away the space that he wanted to go, especially that cross-court shot. So forcing him to make an error.
Reed Wainwright makes the service error, number 16 for the Cardinal. We're tied up once again.
Very high service error match so far for both teams. UCSB with 14 and the Cardinal with 16 on the match.
Gauchos have just been able to offset it with aces a little bit more. I think that's made the difference, as that one's going to go wide. Gauchos with the lead once again.
Yeah, they've offset just a little bit, as you said, with aces and also with just kills on the floor. But some of that also, it's been a couple of unforced errors on the Cardinal too.
Schobel at the line. At the back, Stanford ties it up again.
So Kamana Carrera will take his 5th kill, hitting .455 on the match so far. 4 blocks under his belt as well. So really putting on a master class here. And he's getting the ball, that connection with him and Little Phillips building as this match has gone on.
Only behind Teo Snooey with 10 kills and Moses Wagner with 16, which is a match high. On the other side, we've talked about Cole Schobel quite a bit. He's hitting .750, but he has a double-double already on the day, 29 assists with 12 digs, but 7 kills as well, as he's been that option offensively for the Gauchos too.
It's been so impressive to see the lefty taking a big swing. I mean, he's up there with his own hitters. So impressive. He is someone that I said so far the team has not, the Cardinal have not had an answer for as far as defending him. He has 1 error right now. And I remember at the end of the last set that last error, that one of the errors he had didn't actually count because there was a net violation on the 1 block they had on him. So he is someone who you have to see, looking at these numbers, looking at these stats, he is a threat when he's on the net. And that's something that we haven't really seen with the Cardinal yet adjust to, as far as really seeing him as that and reading him on the block defense to make sure that they are in when he does go up, because he is so quick when he makes a decision that he's going to go after the ball instead of setting it.
Tied up at 8 here coming out of the break. Moses Wagner at the service line. Cardinal hitting .333 in this set to Santa Barbara's .250. Back set. Gets the touch, gets the point. Gauchos take the lead out of the break.
Easy tip off of the outside hand there and straight down. It's a really smart play there from Riggs Guy as he goes back to serve now. His 10th kill on the match.
Back row, Snooey. Tough communication there for the Gauchos. Opportunity for the Cardinal. Back set to Wagner. Gets it done. Kill number 17 on the night.
Huge swing there for Wagner. And I can see Little Phillips getting more comfortable with pushing tempo for him when he sets him on that right side.
Here's Eric Ask. Into the net. 17 service errors for Stanford. One of multiple that have come right after Stanford gets a point.
This is one of those moments I remember in matches that I had when I was still playing in college and professionally, that coaches would look at our service errors, and you don't want to give almost an entire set to a team in service errors, and that is where the Cardinal are really close to. 17 is really, really, really high.
Big time swing, big time dig. There's Pearson. He'll get it done. Pearson on a roll, retakes the team lead with 11 kills.
Pearson has been such a weapon. He has been moving the ball around so much. You've seen big swings from him. You've seen him push the ball into the hands and out off the block. You've seen him tip, and a really off-speed tip at that. So someone who's really been difficult to defend for the Cardinal.
Snooey goes wide. Santa Barbara now up by 3. It's do or die this set for the Cardinal.
Take a timeout here for the Cardinal. That last play, just difficult. And that set, you see where Snooey went up to even attack that ball. He was all the way almost behind the 10-foot line. That's just a difficult spot to try to make something happen when you're hitting out of system like that, especially with a team that has a solid block in front of you. They're taking away really the best angle you can try to swing at when you're in a position like that. So that one tough. He doesn't quite get a hand on that ball as it sails out of bounds, but for him, 10 kills on the night, trying to find his rhythm with a new setter on the floor. But for the Cardinal here, 4th set, 12-9. How do you respond coming out of this timeout? How do you get yourself back into it? And we talked about this earlier. Something just felt a little bit off at moments. We've seen them come together and have some beautiful moments with some great swings and a great connection, but it has obviously been way less consistent than what we've seen from UCSB, who has really been able to still maintain their momentum and gel even in the tough moments and even in those unforced errors.
And it's so interesting. Let's not forget that this is one of 2 matches that we'll have with these squads. Tomorrow, we'll be right back here at Maples at 6 p.m. local time. They're going to go at it again. So the adjustments that they'll need to make, you obviously need to make them set to set within this match. But even thinking about that moving forward, you got to take those learnings and figure out what's going to work for you. And we've seen head coach John Costi making some changes, trying some new things to see what might work for them on the Stanford side. But it's been, as you said, Nia, a pretty good rhythm for UC Santa Barbara.
Yeah, they have really stayed in it, and I always like to go by the faces on the floor and the way that everyone's interacting with each other, and you can see that in the confidence. Not that the Cardinal have lacked confidence, but been a little bit of difference in execution in some of the most important moments so far in the match.
And that goes long, 15th service error for the Gauchos. But the Gauchos have been trending in the right direction as well. They hit 143 in the first set, 179 in the second set, 303 in the third set. They're hitting 333 right now. So they've been going up and to the right. Stanford hit 393 in the second set. That was their highest, but then 143 in the third set. 235 right now, but that's the consistency piece you're talking about. There's Snooey. Here's the setup to Bruning. Into the block! Snooey and Little Phillips on top of it.
Almost that triple block there. Little Phillips coming all the way in. We've seen him make some really great defensive plays. That dig a few points ago, as he came in for the coverage there, he's really making a name for himself on the floor today.
Yeah, give him a lot of credit. Match high, 36 assists. Couple of kills, 4 digs, couple of blocks, and an ace. Wagner off the top of the net. Big swing, handled by Carrera. Here's Snooey. Gets it done! Teo Snooey with his 11th kill. Tied up at 12.
We're seeing Snooey have to adjust a lot on his last few swings here, but finally finding a spot to score there, right on the inside hand of that UCSB block.
Here's Carrera. Aruya runs right in as Stanford's fired up. Reed Wainwright, the sophomore, making his presence known.
First time they have blocked Aruya so far in this matchup, and a big one at that. This is that momentum swing I was talking about, how you're in it. You've clawed your way back. How do we keep this momentum, especially the timeout? We've talked about how that has been really tough for the Cardinal at certain points in this matchup. Going into the timeout and coming out, how do you respond? You want to get a good serve, keep that serve in. You really can't afford to make any more service errors at this point if you want to maintain the lead and staying in this with UCSB.
It's a good point about the timeouts too. It's what are you going to do after the break? Who gains that momentum right away? Do you take it with you if you had it beforehand, or do you retake it if you're on the other side of things and hope that pendulum swings your way? We will see momentarily. The Cardinal now up 13-12 here in the fourth set. They trail 1-2 overall with the Gauchos.
And on a 4-0 scoring run for them right now. I think at this point, maybe not since the first set, this might be their largest lead so far as a scoring run so far in this match.
They had a 4-0 maybe once another time earlier on in this, but yes, this is more of that consistency that you've mentioned, Naya, coming together a little bit here. Can they hang on to it to hang on to this set and force a fifth?
This is a team, UCSB, that is going to be waiting for some of those unforced errors from the Cardinal. You can see it. They're not really bothered. They're not really worried about this lead. I think for them, because they had a moment like this in that first set and still came back and won. So something for the Cardinal to really keep their foot on the gas here and keep them where they are in this matchup.
First ranked opponent for UCSB, but first on the road this year. And the block from the Cardinal. They have the momentum now coming out of the break. Can they hang on to it?
Little Phillips stepping up. He's had multiple pivotal defensive plays in this match so far.
We talked about he's 6'2", but 3 blocks also tonight. Over to Pearson, runs right into it. Miscommunication, falls right in. The Gauchos catch a break.
What a tough one there. Little Phillips again on the block. Little Phillips, but not a little jump.
Yeah.
As you can see, he's right up there. I saw his hands with Reed Wainwright. So super impressive from him, but that last play, so tough. You get a good block and that ball just flies over and lands in the middle.
Strong serve from Bruning. Wagner goes way long.
Timing and the approach to the ball there. I don't want to say it was necessarily a miscommunication. It's a tough out-of-system set being pushed from outside of the court, so he's trying to lead him there. When he goes up to take a swing on that, he's hitting that ball a little too high and out. Not sure what they're debating here at the nets. Did you catch it?
I'm not quite sure either. The official having a conversation there with, looks like Aruya. Schobel might have been in that conversation on the UCSB side, but then Wagner on the Stanford side. Chit-chatting complete. Lefty, Schobel, the 8th kill.
He's done it again.
He's making his way up to a triple-double.
I mean, a few more swings, he's going to be in double digits with the swings, which already to me is so impressive for a setter. I mean, that is a massive weapon to have. Not only do you have your 2 outsides, your 2 middles, but then you also have your setter as another attack option.
Yeah.
And a true attack option. You see it sometimes with some setters. They'll take a swing here and there. You know, they might end a match with 3 kills, 4 kills. No, this is someone who's literally in the running with the rest of his team.
And he was setter of the week in the Big 12 as his first career honor. He hit 714 that time with 42 assists. Had a block. Great performance. And Stanford answers with Teo Snooey.
Snooey with his 12th kill, making his way up there. Moses Wagner leading with 17 so far on the match.
16 serving 15. Little Phillips at the line. Has an ace tonight. Floats it over. Joust at the net. Cardinal recover. Wagner puts it away. 18 kills for Moses Wagner.
What a play there, so scrappy. Couldn't even see where the ball was going half the time. It was back and forth into the net, into the block, back down, but he kept that ball alive. Quick work and quick thinking from Moses Wagner.
3-0 scoring run for the Cardinal. Add another service error to the tally. That's 18 on the day for the Cardinal.
So we are getting close there. 18 service errors, as I said earlier. Getting close to almost a set territory in those errors. It's really tough. And another one there from UCSB.
17 for the Gauchos. They're just one behind the Cardinal. Again, we talked about how they have 4 aces, the Cardinal just with 1, so a little bit more offsetting that they're doing. But some of the unforced errors have been key in specific moments.
This is what happens when you're really trying to attack the other team with your serve. It's what we like to call it, really attacking there. Wow, big swing there from Aruya.
Aruya attacks right there. That's his 6th kill. He's been hitting over 500 on this match. That's going to go up after that one.
That was his answer to getting blocked earlier on in this set, something we hadn't seen yet so far. So he had a response to that last swing.
Owen Lonkar. That's going to go out. The Cardinal, once again with the 2-point lead.
Really
It's do or die.
Really trying to make a push here to close out this 4th set and push this match to a 5-setter. So we will see Carson Kneisel now back to serve. He comes in as one of the serving specialists for the Cardinal.
Off the block there from the Cardinal. Set up to Bruning. Dug up by Snooey. Wagner keeps it alive. Carrera finished it. Back row, Pearson, that goes long. Cardinal, the first to 20, they're up by 3. That is their largest lead in this set.
Calling that one out, and I was waiting for Pearson on that to try to go for a touch, but he actually that time left it alone. I was expecting a challenge in that last play. So the Cardinal turning the tide here in this 4th set. Trading points back and forth up until that 4-0 scoring run that they were on previously. So now leading UC Santa Barbara here. Really difference in what we were seeing, especially toward the end of that 3rd set here.
Yeah, the Cardinal were out-hit by the Gauchos. Gauchos were 303, Stanford 143 in that 3rd set. Right now, Stanford hitting 269 to UC Santa Barbara's 133. So a bit of a switch, turn of the tables, if you will. But we talked about how important that consistency is because of how talented the Santa Barbara team is. Stanford not out of the woods yet.
Not out of the woods yet, and still for them, I talked about the service errors. That's something that's so important. As I said, we've seen it so far in this match. When they come out of the timeout, how do they respond? When they've had these scoring runs, they've come out of the timeout with an answer and come out with a point. And so for them, UCSB hoping to come out of this timeout and start to score points and catch back up here. Cardinal have to come out, still serve aggressive, but keep that serve in. Put pressure on that service team. Make them have to work for their points here.
The last time these two teams met was back in 2024 in Santa Barbara. Back back-to-back matches. Stanford took both. The first one in 5 sets, the next one in 4 sets. Now turn of the tables here a couple of years later here in the Bay Area. Service error from Kneisel. That's number 19 for Stanford. They're still up by 2. Schobel now will go to the line for the Gauchos.
Schobel also someone who has a pretty good serve. No aces yet for him tonight, but he did have a run earlier, but that ball sailing out, so giving that gift to the Cardinal to continue staying in the lead here.
19 service errors for Stanford, 18 for UCSB, 21-18 the score. Moses Wagner. Over to Wagner. Big dig goes over pass. Short set to Carrera. Set it up for Ask, who pushes it over.
Oh, they're going to call him on the net in that last play. That ball, unfortunately, just way too tight, that out-of-system set, trying to lead him in, but that's a little too far in and putting him in a spot where he really can't do anything. That ball was pretty much almost already in their hands on the other side. So unfortunate, unforced error there.
Here's Riggs Guy. Short set to Carrera, big dig from Guy. Set up for Pearson. They're back within 1.
A couple of these plays here on defense. That ball sneaking by, finding Eric Ask in some of those moments. That ball coming fast from the other side. And this is that momentum swing I talked about before we came out of the timeout. How do you respond? I said, come in, and you really want to make your serve. So we start with a service error. That's already difficult with a team like UCSB. And then we have 2 unforced errors to get them back in this. Stanford still leading by 1, but it's really tough to lose that lead that you just had only a few points ago. And it happened so quickly here, especially with a team like UCSB.
And Ben Pearson has been a unit tonight, leading the team with 12 kills for the Gauchos. He's got 8 digs as well, 3 blocks, couple of aces, couple of assists. He's definitely been key for them.
He's really stepped up here, but I mean, just impressive all the way around. And we talked about the spread, and actually really the spread on both sides. Both teams, both setters are really moving the ball around a lot. I've actually noticed so far they really haven't gone back to the same hitter over and over and over again like you're used to seeing. I've seen those matches where, you know, Moses Wagner is getting 2 to 3 sets in a row. And he's had those moments, but really seeing the spread here on both sides, they're keeping each other on their toes on the defense by having so many tools in the tool belt, as I like to call it, having so many hitters that you can go to on the floor.
Moses Wagner on the other side, 18 kills. That's a match high tonight. He had a match high 19 kills in the 5-set loss against number 6 Loyola Chicago. He's on the verge of tying that here for some season highs. 20 serving 21 with Guy at the line. Short set to Carrera. Puts it down with some authority.
Just put an absolute hole in the floor with that last swing. That set right to Little Phillips' hands. And he gets, I mean, that ball is just right above the tape. Kamana Carrera coming in to just take that one home. What a great play from the Cardinal and from the freshman setter.
Huge point in a big moment. Now it's Ryan DuRoss at the line. Strong serve. Short set. Recovered by the Cardinal. Snooey off the block. Can they stick with it? Not quite. Stanford now extends the lead to 3 once again.
A miscommunication on UCSB, but what a rocket from DuRoss on that serve. More impressed it wasn't an ace there. A pretty decent pass actually out of that.
Still at the line here. Up for Bruning. Great effort from Porter. Running out of room is Wagner. The Gauchos will answer. They're back within 2.
So very intense energy on the floor here. Cardinal wanting to maintain this lead, try to close out this 4th set, push to a 5th set. UC Santa Barbara trying to see if they can claw their way back in this to close out in the 4th.
Dylan Pilkvist. Over to Snooey, gets the touch and the point. Teo Snooey with his 14th kill, and it's set point for the Cardinal.
Snooey says not quite yet. We're trying to close this one out first. Set point here for the Cardinal. As I talked about earlier, the serve in this moment and try to close it out with consistency here.
Luke Morrison, the freshman with the strong serve. Cross court to Pearson, runs into the block. And there it is. The Cardinal tie it up by taking set number 4, 25-21. It's 2 sets apiece, and to the 5th set, here we go. To the 5th set, here we go. Jenna Becerra and Nia Crittenden here with you. Number 14, Stanford hosting number 17, UC Santa Barbara. It has been some outstanding men's volleyball that we have witnessed so far tonight. They have alternated sets. UCSB took the first and the third. Stanford took the second and the fourth. Coming out of the break, starting things off for the Cardinal, Reed Wainwright at the line. Service error number 20 on the evening for the Cardinal. That has killed them.
I said this in the last couple of sets now, in the last set. Almost a full set of points in service errors here for the Cardinal. But UCSB not that far behind them. They are also at 18. Tough serve there from Pearson.
Presence at the net there from Moses Wagner.
His third block tonight on Riggs' guy. So Wagner now back to serve. He's among the team leaders and aces for the Cardinal.
Cross-court setup. Into the block. Staying alive. Stanford thought they had it, but the point given to UCSB.
So an error there on the net in that last play.
Gauchos with an early 2-1 lead here, and after 4 sets, we had 33 tie scores and 11 lead changes in this match. Can Stanford do it? They did it. But finding the hole, taking advantage. Schobel, he is 1 kill away from a triple-double tonight.
I am trying so hard not to just die laughing at that because I thought that exactly when he hit that ball. I've been talking about Schobel all night in the fact that he literally is another pin hitter for UCSB, and he just showed it with that last play. There's really not even a response to that after. There's nothing you can even do.
There's Bruning, he'll add 1 to the tally. He's the 3rd Gaucho to get double-digit kills tonight.
So UCSB starting off really strong here in this 5th set. Not the start that the Cardinal wanted, and even that last play with Schobel when he took that swing, that's something where I can hear my coaches in my head saying, why was no one on the net paying attention to him? You know when he is front row, he's going to attack.
Yep.
I've been saying that in the last couple of sets, and he's really, really good at that. It's also very difficult. He's super fast, but you have to look at him, you have to keep your eye on him, and you have to view him as another attacker because that is literally what he is. That is his 9th kill on the match so far. So he is someone that really is regarded here. I mean, you have 12 kills from Riggs' guy, you have 12 kills from Ben Pearson, 10 kills from George Bruning, 9 kills from your setter.
Yeah.
Right behind your 3 main pin hitters.
Yep. He's hitting 727 on this match, leading the team. It's just such a weapon for the Gauchos.
And they haven't had a response. I said that earlier, but no response on the defense yet for him. And a part of that, it's tough to decide whether or not it really is just that difficult to defend him. And it might be a combination. Difficult to defend him, absolutely. But also really having to regard him as a hitter and adjusting the block to that. It's very difficult, especially when you have tough pin hitters on the side. And I know that the blockers want to cheat out just a little bit to get to the other players.
This is actually the first time that UC Santa Barbara has gone to 5 sets so far this season. Second time for the Cardinal. They did go 5 with Loyola Chicago. Stanford was out hitting and out blocking UCSB after the first 4 sets. Now they're back within 2 after the service error, number 19 for the Gauchos.
I think this is going to be a race to who has the most service errors before the end of the match.
You're right, it looks like a set score, 20 to 19.
It does. But that's what happens when you're facing 2 very powerful teams where you really want to put a lot of pressure on the serve receive to get them out of system. And so they're giving it everything they have in these serves.
Bruning off the block. Porter keeps it alive. Back set. Over to Wagner. Bruning keeps it up. Pushed over. From the back row, DuRoss. That's going to go wide. UCSB back up by 3.
Tough swing there from DuRoss. Tried to get on that with the timing, and that back row attack was almost there, but went for that, missed that outside hand a little too far. Took that ball out, so that point now back to UCSB.
Strong serve from Schobel, getting the point there. Carrera, another side out for the Cardinal.
7th kill on the night for Carrera. He has no errors so far, so he is just having a phenomenal match at this point.
Hitting 467. That's only behind Little Phillips, who does have a couple of kills. Hitting 500. Off the net, nearly falls in, but what effort. Bruning goes long. Cardinal within 1.
Looking for a net violation there. They might challenge this play, we'll see. And that attack there, coach says no, keep playing on. So there will not be a challenge on that last play.
Strong serve. Pushed over. Kept alive by Wagner. Here's Snooey. Big swing. Blocked. Tools the block there. Riggs guy. 13 kills.
What a defensive effort on both sides. Also, Schobel with the slap on the ball, just trying to keep that one alive. More impressive, Bruning took a swing on that ball. That was really impressive from them, but that swing from Riggs guy right into the block there and out.
In the back row, Eric Ask finally connects. They asked him to step up, and he did.
So good. You get a gold star for that.
Thank you.
That swing from Eric Ask was so impressive.
Second kill of the night. Just long. Service error number 21 gives the 2-point lead back to the Gauchos.
Really tough to lose the point in that momentum swing there, especially after a big kill from the freshman on the Cardinal.
Here's Pilkvist. That goes long. They'll trade the service errors once again. They've both hit that 20 mark in that category. Cardinal with 21, Gauchos with 20 on the dot.
It'll be interesting to see after this match is over the scouting for tomorrow based on these service errors.
Overpass, taking advantage. Reed Wainwright makes it right.
Massive swing on that overpass from Reed Wainwright to tie it up here for the Cardinals, 7-7. Who will be the first to 8?
First kill of the night for Wainwright. Into the block is Pearson, and it's tooled. UCSB first to 8.
So getting close here. We knew this match was going to be close. It has been close really the entire time. No surprise at the 5th set. We are trading point for point here. So the switch, UCSB getting the first to 8 here, but the Cardinal still right in this. This is the match that we talked about. We talked a little bit about what they're working towards for the postseason.
Yep.
We just started the season. It's still early, but these are the matches that matter. And this is what I talked about earlier. These are the points that matter because you might face each other once we get later on in the season, especially postseason. And all of these plays, and as you said earlier, the learnings are so important here.
That one goes long from Eric Ask. 2-point lead once again for Santa Barbara. George Bruning at the line. Stanford will take the timeout. Head coach John Costi going to have a chat with his squad.
So a timeout here, 9-7 in this 5th set. And I said this earlier, waiting in these timeouts, what are you telling your team now at this moment? In a tough spot here, we knew this was going to be a close matchup.
Yep.
How do we now respond? We led for a little bit early on in this set, but really it has been point for point here. They're 2 points ahead of us. They're very confident right now. You see that with UCSB, playing with so much confidence. And I won't say they're playing like they have it in the bag, because I can tell that they know that this is a team that has been battling back with them the whole time.
Yep.
But for the Cardinal, it's the response of, okay, we made that one error. How do we come back from that?
Yep. UCSB hitting 273 here in the 5th set. Stanford at 125. 3 Gauchos with double-digit kills. That's Guy and Pearson with 13 apiece, Bruning with 10. And like we said, Cole Schobel, 4th on the team with 9. He is 1 kill away from that triple-double. That would be oh so impressive.
If I'm the Cardinal right now, I am keeping my eyes locked on him. You need to read your setter anyway on the block to be ready to see where his tendencies are, to see where he's going to go. And you know he has the players that he goes to the most, especially in the tough moments. But he is someone that knows how to switch it up. But when he is on the net, they have to be on him, because you know he is going to go for that ball. Not only just to get his 10th kill, but because he literally is an option.
Yep. Bruning to serve out of the break. Back set over to Wagner. Dig from Bruning. Trying to keep it alive is Schobel, but Stanford will get the first point from the break.
So much needed point here for the Cardinal to start cutting down on this UCSB lead. 1 point apiece here. Only 1 point down for the Cardinal. So taking a quick break, wiping up some sweat here on the floor.
So what happens when you battle through 5 sets, back and forth all day long?
Not just battling through 5 sets, grueling. Point for point for point on each side of the floor here.
Kneisel comes in to serve. Aruya leaves no doubt. That's his 7th kill.
Well, Aruya is so impressive when he's right on the net. The way that Schobel's able to get him that ball, even just off the net there on that play. And he just elevates so much and finds space on the floor there. And he's done really well with hitting that cross-court shot. They haven't really had an answer in stopping that play from Aruya.
And there's Moses Swagner. We'll call him 20 kills tonight.
That's a new one. I'm taking that.
You're welcome to it.
That's so good. Definitely a lot of swag with his 20th kill of the night, hitting 289.
He's 1 dig away from a double-double himself. Schobel doing what he's done all night long, but Stanford hanging on. Here's Ask. Tools the block. Big time point, tied at double digits.
10-10 here. No, I can't imagine how tired they are at this point. We still have a lot of points to go for the Cardinal as they are tied now with UCSB.
And right on cue, Moses Wagner gets his 10th kill, so he's got a double-double. Here's Schobel. Off the block, whistle is blown. UCSB with the advantage there and the lead once again.
Tough net violation and error. So tense and so close in this matchup. Especially when you slowed down Riggs' Guy on that last swing. Strong serve here from Owen Longcar.
Over to Ask. He'll recover off the block, the Gauchos. That's dug up by Schmidt. He's got double-digit digs. Eric Ask! Once again, he has stepped up here late in this match. That's his 4th kill.
Stepped up late in the match and really gaining momentum as it closes out here. The freshman, 6'9" from Sweden. I've seen him just a little bit in some of the past matches. I saw him against their match against Lewis to start the season.
Too much power behind that swing, and the Gauchos retake the lead.
Bruning with his 11th kill on the night. He's kind of had a back and forth match. A lot of kills, but also pretty high error rate for him and finding space on the floor, but so powerful for UCSB on the net. And similarly with Schobel there on the serves, he's been so impressive everywhere else in his game, on the defense, on the offense, but the serves for him have been a little tough tonight.
Tied now at 21 service errors apiece between these squads. Also tied at 12 points apiece here in the 5th set. Down to the wire. Carrera at the line. Floats it over. Schobel with the back set. Big swing, overpass. It's gonna work! The Cardinal side is on their feet. Maples erupts.
13-12 here, and a timeout called after that last play for UCSB. Just a difficult moment trying to stop that ball. It lands right on the floor. And they're gonna have a moment to think about those last couple of plays as the momentum has gone back to the Cardinal here. Both teams right now, high hitting percentages, 353 for UCSB, hitting 209 on the match. And for the Cardinal, hitting 429 after that last play, hitting 254 on the match. So leading in their hitting percentage. We've seen that difference here, but other than that, throughout this match, they've been so even in so many other places. It's been so interesting to watch. At one point, the Cardinal had a lot more unforced errors than UCSB did, but even on those, even with those moments of having unforced errors, there were moments where UCSB still had a lower hitting percentage than them. So both teams really trading points back and forth. Very impressive on their offense here.
And Moses Wagner, of course, we've talked about, he's leading the way in this match with 20 kills, a double-double with the 10 digs. Teo Snui, 14 kills with 8 digs. But Kamana Carrera as well has been key. He's third on the team with 8 kills, hitting 500 tonight. He's got 4 digs and 5 blocks to lead the team as well.
No errors for Kamana Carrera on that side. But they've had a little bit of a spread here. Some of their other middles getting them involved. We saw Luke McFall earlier in the last set. He had 5 kills, hitting 333. But as you mentioned earlier, Eric Ask moving up here in this last set, 4 kills already.
Carrera will start at the line after the timeout. 13 serving 12. Gets the touch. Big swing from Guy. We're tied up at 13.
You could see the slight hesitation on the defense there in the Cardinal when Schobel went up for that ball. He just went to save, but you could kind of tell. You can't tell. He's back row now, so he really can't take it. He can't attack on that one, but I saw the hesitation on the defense when he did go up to save that ball.
Cardinals stay alive, but a free ball here. Back set over to Bruning. That goes long. Cardinal retake the lead, and it is match point.
Coach McLaughlin not happy with the up ref on that last play. Looking for a call there. That ball going out, but Cardinal with game point here.
14-13 lead, Little Phillips at the line. He's got the lone ace. Back set to Bruning. Finds the floor, tied up once more.
This match has us on our toes here. Point for point, down to the wire. This is what I expected when this set started.
12th kill for George Bruning. Dylan Pilkvist at the line, floats it over. Finding the floor, Reed Wainwright.
A big kill in a big moment for middle blocker Reed Wainwright. His 2nd kill on the night.
Only 2 on the night, but the timing of the moment. Match point Cardinal once again. Teo Snui to serve. Aruya tools it, ties it once more.
Middle blockers trading points right now. This is tense. You can feel the energy in Maples right now. Everyone is on edge.
Decent turnout from the UCSB fans too, so I think we'll hear some noise either way. There's Wagner! Puts it away, that's the 21st kill. Match point Cardinal.
Wagner on top of that ball, takes that cross court with some authority. Reed Wainwright now back to serve.
They did it! The Stanford Cardinal on the ace, just the second one tonight. And they'll take the 5-set victory, their first win this season, and it's a ranked one over UC Santa Barbara.
The Cardinal closing it out, getting their first win.